You know how when they start the draft or when there's going to be a trade in the draft? Yeah, Ronnie Fishing, we were a couple minutes late as usual. We tell you 9:30 so we can, get here like 9:35 or so. But when Adam Silver says, we have a trade to announce. We actually have a trade. Yeah, we actually have a trade, which we're going to get into. The floor is yours. Crew is here. It's the regulars today. I was a game time decision. Sean was kind of a game time decision. Tony was kind of a game time decision. And Timmy was warming up with intent to play. But we are here, and a trade happened. So we're going to spend a lot of time on that. We'll talk a little bit about the Milwaukee Bucks because I don't know what the hell's going on over there. But guys, Kyle Lowry, and we've been talking about this all day on the 5 Reasons channels, just playback, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, wherever, right? Kyle Lowry, 2027 protected first-round pick, Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is a Miami Heat, and he was introduced as such already, kind of, on Instagram. He's going to wear number 2, all that good stuff. Instant reactions. Let's go around. Let's go to Tony first, because I feel like you were especially excited based on the message that you sent in Discord shortly after this trade was completed, in all caps.
Yep. Yeah, he's the most portable option that was available for Miami. He makes sense pretty much everywhere on the floor with any combination of the guys. But more importantly, as a starter and as the primary ball handler for the roster, he is more of an offensive threat. That's not big analysis than Kyle Lowry. But what that does for everyone else is give them one worse tier down defender that's in front of them. Terry is drawing the second best wing, best guard defender, whatever you want to do, your point of attack defender, whoever that is, that's now Terry's guy to beat, which he's definitely capable of doing. And everybody else has to play a 1 tier down. Tyler no longer has to beat the best wing defender in a team. Jimmy no longer has to try and cut in filled space because everyone went under the pick and roll. And when I say everyone, I mean Jimmy's defender, whoever's on Kyle Lowry went under, and Bam's defender went under too. Now Jimmy can cut into open space. Tyler doesn't have to be the primary on-ball guy. He can increase his usage based off what he's feeling in the game, which was when he played his best basketball as a 6-man. He just came in and took the flow of the game into account and decided what he was going to do. If he was going to dish, shoot, pass, whatever his feel was that night, that's what he did. He can play that way now. And hey, by the way, Bam, you've got more space too, because not the entire team is going under on the pick and rolls that are happening at the 3-point line. So now you can roll into more open space and comfortably get that jumper that you love at 14 feet. So much more easy. This was the guy for me. I have been yelling about it a little bit on Twitter. I didn't think that DeJounte Murray fit the same kind of flexibility that we needed for this roster to be effective. I sure as hell don't think we are done. There's a lot more problems that get created by adding Terry Rozier now. You're still small. You're still very small. And you have to decide on what kind of team you're going to be when we're talking about boards and if you want to run and what you want to do. And there's a lot to figure out. But I'll take these issues which come with time before we get to the deadline. And I'll take these issues that can get fixed with time before we get into the playoffs.
Timmy, because I know you were happy about this as well. And I don't think you've had the chance to say much on this yet today.
No, and just piggyback off of Tony, like, I like everyone gets knocked down a peg in terms of responsibility. So like I've always thought, and then I must back it up. Hero is such a good off-ball scorer. Like, he's currently 10th in the league in catch and shoot, right? You could like Hero is such a good shooter, but because now he was basically the primary ball handler because Larry was like, basically on one leg with the ball firmly in Terry's hands, then you get, Tyler can spot up for what, like, I don't think Tyler spotted up in like maybe like weeks. Like, every shot he takes is falling sideways backwards. I mentioned before how Jimmy wants to be the star, but wants to be like the fourth guy in usage. Well, he could be the fourth guy in usage now, and then we don't have to blow our brains out. I think this is the perfect lineup for Highsmith to start in. I think he's going to get his contract. And to piggyback on Tony, I think that they aren't done. If you're not going to pay Caleb, and my biggest thing all is I'm happy that the Heat have committed to something. It always was stopgap until summer, stopgap till the summer, stopgap till the summer. At least now you have a player that's not a stopgap. He's a legit player. He's putting up numbers that if you just go by stats alone, he on par with some all stars. 29, and shout out to Ethan. You got Timmy 29, you got Jay Will, Chuck 29, and you got Goji turn 29. Like that, something about Heat point guards and 29 in the system. So I like it for that. But again, it's a commitment. It's not the next player undrafted guy. Just we've committed to the build for the foreseeable future. This is the team for at least 2 years. Give or take. Now you feel, and I'm just happy that now you could build on this. It's really just been a shaky kind of Jenga type of thing. Now we have a firm foundation. These are your 4 highest players. 5 if you include Duncan. Now let's see what happens for February 8th.
Sean, because I wanted to save you for last, because I've been throwing numbers at you in one of our text threads. All the numbers about Terry Rozier's free throw rate would be top 5 on the Heat right now. His assist percentage would be number 1 with a bullet on this team by about 10% over Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero, respectively. And just all the things that he could add. You take this in how, and what is the best way that you could see this working out?
So in trade talks, I've been one that's been very cautious to proceed, knowing we need a change, but not very adamant about throwing assets all over the place just to make changes. And when the trade went down today, like Brian said, we have a text message chat, me and Greg and Brian, and I, in all caps, misspelled trade because I was very excited trying to type it quickly. I think I typed TRADR and then corrected it. And then, like the excitement went from there. I am one that, I know there's been a lot of like weirdness on the timeline between different people, like hating on Lowry. And I think that he never lived up to what he was expected to be, but he was okay in his role, just not ever good enough. And, he was part of a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals and the finals. So the results for the team were good. The results for him individually were probably not good enough, and just that it is what it is. You overpaid. You knew you overpaid when you got him. And now you've gotten out of that contract without really giving up much. And he got an upgrade in Scary Terry. And I'm excited to see what he brings. I kind of proceed with caution, not knowing, I don't think that he's, when we thought all summer we were getting Dame, he's not Dame. He's maybe not even DeJounte Murray, but I think he's a really good fit with this team. I think he's excited to be here. And what I also see coming, and I was kind of like jokingly trying to find something funny. I was looking at like a song, and we know we can't play songs because it'll get blocked on here, but like I was looking at like Boys to Men, like So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday, that it doesn't really fit, like he's from Philly, I'm from Philly.
To the Nobody's really sad to see. End of the road.
That was a better one. That was a better Boys to Men song there.
Now Ethan's gonna have to pay $2,000 because of
But what I think is going to happen here, this is going to be my prediction, and I don't know if Timmy will also sing this one, but Lowry's going to get bought out. He's going to go to the Knicks. He's going to go to the Sixers. He's going to go to one of those teams. And then as the great poets Bone Thugs and Harmony once said, we'll see you at the crossroads, Lowry. You won't be lonely. We'll be waiting for you.
And add one more thing to that, the list, Phoenix.
Well, they're not.
I think he's going to stay east. They're not. Yeah, they're at their own crossroads. I think that he's
because of the buyout rules, though. So he's going to have to be traded for by some of these contenders because he makes too much
there are teams that he can't go to, but I think that he's going to go somewhere, and I think we're going to cross paths with him in the playoffs.
I have a lot of thoughts. I also did some reporting on this, and yeah, I've been hearing about Rosier for more than a week at this point. I think this was sort of the perfect guy. I don't think you got Damian Lillard, but I think in some ways you kind of got Damian Lillard light. He is very effective as a scorer, as a passer. He's been efficient this year. His defensive metrics don't look great this year because he plays next to LaMelo Ball. His defense will get better in Miami, I believe. Tyler Hero, at the very least, he's a better defender than LaMelo Ball. So when they play together in the backcourt, their defense will be better than what Charlotte dealt with. I think it's a slam dunk trade. Celtics fans, I've seen, are annoyed about this. It's one way to put it. Bucks fans not feeling great about it, and also they fired their coach. We'll get to that in a second. And I just think that would you like this is almost a question I would pose to you guys, because really think about it. Would you rather have traded everything for Dame? We know what everything is, which is probably everything except like Jaime Jaquez. But would you rather have done that, or would you rather have done this, where you're keeping basically everything and you're parting with one first while keeping two that you could trade at some point later on, but you're adding Terry Rozier while keeping everything else intact? Because I actually think in terms of asset management, if we want to call it that, it's a discussion on what would have been better. This is definitely lower risk. I don't think Terry Rozier is better than Damian Lillard, but he is younger. And his production this year is comparable, though, different situation. So I just think that that's at least a discussion. And then where it goes to is, because I want to get to some questions, is now what's next? Because I don't think you can't do this and stop. Van Lee says Terry Rozier is top 5 in points in the fourth quarter. There's a lot of Terry Rozier numbers where he's like, he's second in pick and roll scoring.
He has as much clutch 3-pointers in the fourth as Stephen Curry.
We got him.
I thought Brian was watching the Knicks game, because I think we're going to cover.
Wait, what score?
I think we're going to cover. It's 3 seconds left. Claxton just fouled Julius. We need Julius to make 2 free throws. Not to interrupt the flow here. This is horrible for the podcast feed, but I'll keep an eye on it. We'll get back to it.
Okay.
So Brian, to answer your question, I know that Dame is a better player, but I feel like I was always one of some people on our network that felt like we needed a Posey, J. Will, Antoine trade, and not so much the Shaq trade.
We were saying this before. We were saying this before all the Dame shit happened
in the summer. Yeah,
right. It was like I was linking it more so because I didn't grow up a Heat fan, so that wouldn't have been my first reference. I was linking it more so to like Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala, that deal, which obviously I'm more familiar with. And Solomon Hill, shout out to him. But I thought they would need something like this. Now you can kind of do this in 2 parts.
Knicks covered.
They won by 5. Oh, I had him at 3.5.
Degenerates.
Oh, what a great cover. Anyway, kids, gamble responsibly. So I think it's a slam dunk trade.
On better edge.
Slam dunk trade. Terry Rozier is unprotected. It's not an unprotected first. It's a protected first. It's lottery protected, and then it conveys potentially the year after in 2028, which may end up being a tight first. But look, here's the thing you got to look at too. Terry Rozier's contract is tradable. He's going to be in the 20s for the next 3 years. That last year's 20, 25, 26. You maintain flexibility. He's going to be your 4th highest paid player after obviously Jimmy, Bam, Tyler. We'll see what happens with that, because you may need to do some more shape shifting as this goes. But I think now you have to see what you can get for Caleb Martin. Maybe it's Caleb Martin and Thomas Bryant. Maybe it's Caleb Martin, Thomas Bryant, and Drew Smith's contract. Maybe Orlando Robinson's contract. You have to cobble up these things together and see like what you can get and go shopping. I probably wouldn't trade the other first right now, which would be 2030. I probably wouldn't do that. But I think with Caleb Martin in the package, you can get something respectable that can be in your rotation. Tony?
Yeah, I'd hate to be package nerd, but you can't. You can't trade 2030 right now because you don't know for sure that the 2 picks aren't going to go 27 and 28. You got to wait.
I wouldn't do it anyway.
You can't legally.
I wouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah, there's no reason
because you can do it on draft night with 24.
You'd have to wait till then. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's like I wouldn't do it anyway, even if that was the case.
I think that in the modern NBA, I'm going to zag a little on you guys just because you're zigging, and I probably would agree with it both ways. I like whatever makes the Miami Heat a good team. In the modern NBA, the lethality of Damian Lillard just weighs the scale a little heavier than the asset management piece of it. You still figure out a way to to manage whatever you have on your roster and get it done. I think the Bucks are still, even today, are still making the Dame trade 10 times out of 10. But the way this worked out for Miami, your top 4 players are your top 4 highest paid players for the first time in like what, 4 years, 5 years.
First time in the Jimmy era.
First time in the Jimmy era. Your top 4 ball handlers, usage guys, are going to be the top 4 highest paid guys, and you have Duncan right there at 5th, and I think he slots right in as the 5th best player on this team right now. And you just keep going with Jaime. Jaime, look, the thing about Rosier, you got him for free basically, and you just made your best weapon, which is your bench unit, an even more talented and deeper weapon to use against these top heavy rosters like Boston and Milwaukee.
Timmy, you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I think you call the Wizards or you call the Nets. Those are the teams that are having a fire sale. I definitely know for sure. The one thing we haven't discussed is that we saved, making some money, but we did drop far enough below the apron that you opened the $5 million and mid level. So that gives you a world of options before March 1st. Between February 10th, you have the buyouts. And once that player wasn't making more than 12.4, I think the Heat is the only contender. You guys could check me. The only or maybe one of 2 contenders who will have that $5 million option. So you trade, you get, and you don't want to trade Drew. You don't want to waste Drew's spot because he's done. You combine him and Caleb because you're not going to pay Caleb. Tony has told you the numbers of the other players. You got Triple J, you got Highsmith will get paid this summer. So you get off of Caleb and Drew, Adam Thomas Bryant, and you have like 4 trade exceptions. So I do think you call up for a Royce or DFS. A Lonnie Walker, Dennis Smith Jr., who we have said time and time again was trying to come here all summer, but the DN trade took too long, So I think you call the Wizards, you call some of these bottom feeder teams who they're not doing anything. You send Caleb there, and either they pay Caleb or Caleb will get paid somewhere else. But I think now and I know Caleb is happy to be playing with Rosier again, but that won't be for too much longer. I think you go for it. And I don't want to be a broken record, but we have said time and time again, you needed the Twan, Posey, J. Will trade. You needed to add better players to your good players. So now we got the ball handler. Let's get some more size in the wings in the front court. A backup point guard, a backup center, something.
I think Royce O'Neal would actually be interesting.
We should add one thing to that because I think they both said it very well.
The
advantage of making the trade today and not waiting to the deadline is you give yourself roughly 2 weeks to evaluate. You're going to get to see, fingers crossed, because we know it's the Miami Heat. You're going to get to see these guys together. Once Jaime gets back, now you're full strength, hopefully, and you can evaluate and say, hey, we have enough. We can move Caleb. Hey, we need, I don't know, a backup blank. So that's what I think the advantage of doing this now. I don't think there was any advantage to wait, especially when the price point was what it was.
Okay, questions. Let's go, Manny. Let's see what we got. Van Lee wants PJ Tucker back. He has inside info on Giannis and Embiid can guard Jokic. I think PJ Tucker on a buyout is actually interesting, and I feel like at a bare minimum that could be the next move, and it wouldn't shock me. I don't have intel on that at the moment, but I think that they like PJ Tucker and didn't want to see him go. But business is business, and he took the money and ran as he's right to do. And now he probably wishes he was still in Miami given his current situation. CB says can do a trade like Thomas Bryant or Jay Rich for cash considerations like they did with Dedmon last year, sign PJ Tucker if he's bought out. And then you have Highsmith to Tucker for the bench unit. Yeah, I think at a bare minimum you could do that. I don't know that they're actually going to trade Caleb Martin, but if it were me, I would go shopping with like you just have to, and it's not really a disrespect to Caleb Martin. It's just that's the nature of the business. Like it's his turn to get paid, and you can't really pay him. Like it'll mess up your cap sheet going forward unless you move somebody else. But like I don't think I don't think they're going to move off some of these other guys yet. So
he is the only contract it's $6 million. It's either above him is Duncan at 18, and then Love at 3. He's the only player we have in that $6-7 million range. He just
Haywood Highsmith is somebody you could extend in a reasonable number, and I think that Haywood Highsmith should be the starting power forward going forward, unless you upgrade, because you need somebody in the starting lineup who doesn't need the ball next to these 4 guys. If you're going to start Terry and Tyler together, especially, you need somebody who doesn't need the ball. Nikola Jovic, just continue to develop in the rotation, at the back end of the rotation, or potentially in Sioux Falls. But I don't think he needs to be starting anymore at this point. And I say that as somebody who's one of his biggest defenders. So,
and I agree with you. Highsmith is about to become a mainstream name with most people know who he is. But outside,
I don't even know if I go that far, Sean.
I think your basketball nerds know who he is, even if you're outside of Miami. But I think because he's going to be elevated into a role that he's going to be able to flourish in, especially if he shoots the ball well, Haywood is going to hopefully, play well and make himself some money this summer.
You literally just need him to be a 3-and-D guy at this point.
But the funny thing is, he's so much, and this is just going to be a Haywood session here. He's so much more than that because he attacks that closeout really well, and more importantly, with all this new space, he can find a cutter, man. Off the bounce, he can find a cutter. His worst rolls when he's dribbling the ball, he looks like trash when he puts the ball on the floor. But as long as that's not happening more than one time, a hell of a player out of that corner.
Oh, we had another question. We had a few other questions. Let's see. I wouldn't call Davion Mitchell a flyer because I still think he's pretty valuable, but I don't. People keep asking about Davion Mitchell. I don't know a damn thing, and I don't expect. Though they have 4 trade exceptions, I don't expect they're going to use any of them because, cap, money.
I think there's a lot of guys like Davion Mitchell you can grab on buyouts. A lot of guys.
I don't think he's going to get bought out. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Just other dudes with similar skill sets.
Right.
Yeah, they're not as good. They're nowhere near as good as Davion is or projects to be, but we need size to me, and maybe that's coloring my opinions.
Mohamedou says we should package Caleb and Drew for TJ McConnell. I know Timmy likes this, so I'm going to go to him. Pacers need wing depth and defense. What was the rest of that question? Pacers need wing depth, defense. We need Manny. We need guard depth. They also basically get a Bruce Brown back. I don't know if I'd call Caleb Bruce Brown, but I get it. Timmy,
but
you like TJ McConnell. It's one of the things you like.
And Jimmy does as well. I think I actually don't hate it. I haven't thought about that. I mean,
I think you need to get something like a second rounder or something back,
or like Isaiah Jackson or Jalen Smith, or
no. I just think you need to get a couple seconds.
I saw someone say they wanted Obi Toppin. But he couldn't find minutes in New York. He's gonna lose minutes in the
You're gonna be pissed off when Obi Toppin's open on the corner and then air balls, and you're gonna be like, that's why he keeps getting fucking traded.
Yeah, facts, big facts. But yeah, maybe if it's Jalen Smith and TJ McConnell, maybe he's definitely better than Thomas Bryant.
So we got to get to the Bucks because they fired their coach, and now people in the chat are telling us that Doc Rivers has accepted the job.
Oh, Emperor Palpatine strikes again.
All right, let's do this.
It's actually insane how he's always lurking in the shadows. It's actually insane.
Let's do this. We will go back to we will take more questions at the end of this. Let's spend a few minutes on this because out of nowhere today, and now this makes a little bit more sense. But out of nowhere today, Adrian Griffin's gone. Very David Blatt-like, 30-13, great record. Weird team, whatever. I got a message from somebody who said, he kind of lost the team early. Very early.
I think from
there's a reason. Hold on, Timmy. There's a reason. Very early on in the year, Terry Stotts was like, "I'm out of here."
Yep.
Is what I'll say. That report may or may not come out. I don't feel like I should give all of it up here. Yeah. So yeah, I think this has been in the works, and now with Doc Rivers taking it, three things. One, this is hilarious. Two, it's unfortunate because I really like Doc Rivers as an announcer and as a podcast guest. He was great this season.
I still think he shows up on Bill Simmons. I don't know why. It's just I think it's happening.
I don't think he's gonna do it. I don't think he's gonna do it. And the last thing I will say is like, does this it should make the Bucks better, but doesn't it, if anything, make them kind of like funnier? Tony,
it makes it better.
Sean.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, as much as we're giving Adrian Griffin shit, he won 70% of his games. Like you guys said, there's going to be more to the story. There's behind the scenes things that we're hearing about that are going to continue to leak out. And he was a substitute teacher, and they wanted to get rid of Bud for so many years, right? And he won that championship, and it kind of bought him some more time. And then, Spo brought the axe out in the first round, knocked him out, and then he got fired. And Bud is a good coach. I mean, he has his faults. Every coach has his faults. Now they're going to see the faults that Doc has. I mean, we know he's a good coach, but I mean, what about the guy that got named interim coach this afternoon? He was a coach for like 7 hours.
It's his third time being the role. He did it in Atlanta, and he did it in Milwaukee before.
Way. Really?
They fired.
I'm fucking quitting.
They fired Mike Budenholzer. They fired Mike Budenholzer like a week after his brother died.
Yes, they did.
For what? For what?
Yo, how pissed is Doc going to be about Dame not playing defense? Dame.
I'm so like, I'm legitimately I'm like, man, like Doc Rivers is a good announcer. Like, he really good. Like, I love Jeff Van Gundy, who apparently was somebody that they were going to reach out to, but I think they just dropped some other names because they had their
they had to make sure like it looked good. Like, we did a search and all of that. Like, Doc wasn't in there dirty marking all season. Like, if I was the coach, I'd do this.
Doc,
I'm legitimately bummed out. I like Doc as an announcer. I don't want to fucking see him coach.
The Shams article that has him being like, I wanted to reinforce confidence into Adrian as often as I can. Do you think, and this is, reckless speculation, I'll go ahead and put it out there. Do you think he was pitching him bad advice the whole season? Do you think he was just like, what I think you should do is you should tell Dame after he shoots the ball just to walk back, save his energy for offense?
Some Billy Gill ass theory.
I'm just saying, man, Palpatine, he's pulling the strings on both sides. He got the job. I do think it's unfortunate, just thinking about Budenholzer here, thinking about kind of where the Bucks organization is. And I know we're all kind of related to the Heat, so we don't want to give him too much sympathy. But to Sean's very, very great point, they're going to have new problems. It's not the stuff that plagues them isn't going away. The roster construction isn't going away. And I think Doc is going to come in and kind of solidify what they want to get to. He does a fucking excellent job at making things simple for his players. I mean, you say whatever the fuck you want about the guy. When the dudes are in his system, they excel. A lot of guys have career years on their Doc that never had career years in their life. He makes things super simple, puts everybody in a role, and gets it going. Problem is it's so damn structured and it's so free flow.
They are reporting from CNN Sport.
No, I've never heard CNN break a coaching hire before.
Sports.
I've never seen before in my life.
Well, they just lost DeSantis, so now they had to come up with something. They had to pivot.
God, Manny, close the stream.
No, because we're still going. Bleacher Report actually tweeted out hiring Doc Rivers as coach per CNN Sport.
Right, that's what I was listening to. It was apparently on the TNT stream. Candace Parker, though, said they got a text from CNN that it was weird. I've never seen CNN break this stuff before.
Chico77 with the observation we all need. Woj and Shams got beat by CNN. LOL.
Did they do like the breaking thing like during the election? Like breaking. Milwaukee
Who announced
has been won by Doc Rivers.
I
They need to be the two. That needs to be the 2-3 seed. I mean, obviously, I would love for the Heat to be there, right? But 2-3 seeds, so they play in the second round.
Yeah.
So it's either Doc beats Philly in the second round, they don't get past the second round again, or
honestly,
Eternal.
What did you try to tell us? What did you what Eternal? I tried to tell y'all. Try to tell us what? Like you always try to tell us something. Motherfucker thinks he's right about everything. God damn, son.
I feel bad for Adrian. I think he will get another job because 30% is
no. Turtle's gonna text me all pissed off. Watch. I'm playing with him. That's my guy.
Make it a playback. Don't do this.
That's my.
Yeah, that's a good point. Austin Rivers will come in. Thanasis is there. It's like the Milwaukee nepotisms. That's how they got going on there. It's like all just a family.
The Eastern Conference is the shit because you got the Bucks and the Sixers of drama now. Joel Embiid versus Giannis added something extra. You got the Heat and the Celtics with Terry Rozier going to play again. You know the Heat and the Celtics are going to play each other in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like we're going to get
it's inevitable.
I literally texted Greg, Terry Rozier is going to win your team a playoff series by 2026. And we're here in 2024 where you might do it. Like I told them, like, listen, Heat fans are going to be like, one day in their life, they're gonna be like, "Yo, remember when Terry Rozier got 42 in a game 6?" Blah 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 blah. Like he's that kind of dude. And now you have Doc Rivers going to the Bucks.
50 playoff games. That boy is experienced.
Like the Bucks should. Like I want to say Doc Rivers makes the Bucks better. They were 30-13. Like,
yeah, how much better can you be efficiency like execution wise?
Is maybe this is Tyronn Lue and David Blatt again? But the East is better than it was when that happened.
Hey, Brian, to your point about playing the Celtics, who are the Heat going to lose to in the first play-in game to set up that 1-8 matchup? I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
The Pacers, right?
Pacers.
Yeah.
Pacers.
It'd be the
boat
Pacers.
raced.
Yeah, they boat raced.
They're going to give up 140.
I don't think the Heat fall into the play-in this year.
I know.
There's my bold prediction. I don't think they fall. Do we have questions? Do we have questions on Doc and Rosier and all this stuff? Anything
really
NBA?
Quick, do you think Anderson Cooper or Wolf Blitzer is going to announce the DeJounte Murray trade?
Trevor Noah is going to go live from
Roy Wood Jr. He's going to be the correspondent actually breaking the news. Eternals is 3rd seed for Miami.
No, we can't have that happen. We need that Philly-Boston or the Philly-Milwaukee series.
I don't think they get to 3rd. They're not that far from 3rd, though, aren't they?
No, nobody's that far from 3rd. That's the thing.
Yeah, I felt like Miami's been. I before the season, I had them at like that 4-5 range. So I mean, felt like
if you don't care about it, 5 seed looks like it might be not the worst way to get into the playoffs right now because anything going through Boston's kind of rough. 4,
it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight. I had them at like 45, 47 wins. I don't remember exactly, but it was in that mid 40s range, slightly high 40s with the move. And I do think Terry Rozier is going to add like at least a couple wins. We'll see, but I think they should try to get a top 4 seed. Don't put yourselves in a position again where, because we got to remember, like they were the 5 seed when they went to the finals the first time in the Jimmy Butler run, but that was the bubble. There weren't, I don't know what the fuck that is. That was the bubble where like there weren't actually home games or whatever. So, that's a great photo, by the way, Eternal. Well done with the profile picture. All right, what else we got here? Kawhi, straight face. Who starts? Well, do you want to know who should start or who will start? I have 2 different answers for you. Sean doesn't like this. Who will start?
Duncan Robinson, Jimmy, Highsmith, and Baum should start. Should.
Who will start, I think, will be Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, Jimmy, Haywood Highsmith, Bam. I would like to see Jaime at the 2, and Tyler could still close, but we can get into why at another because we're already at 35 minutes. Jay Rich is not starting Chico 70s. That would be shocking. And I don't think they bring Terry Rozier off the bench. I don't think you do this to bring Terry Rozier off the bench also. JD 2000. When are we gonna know if Terry is playing tomorrow? Tomorrow. Next question. Honestly, I don't know. I would save him for Thursday. Debuted against the Celtics. Adrian Griffith. So Doc can coach Giannis like he did Blake, CP, and Embiid, question mark. Sean?
Is that the coach?
Yeah, that's why I said Griffith.
I know, right?
JD 2000 says, I hate y'all. We love you, JD. Thank you for your contributions. Honestly, I don't know. Tomorrow will probably be because I think Van Lee says the Turtle Jovic days are done. Hey, calm down.
It's not nice.
I
what's
am
best for him. It is what it is. If he goes back to Sioux Falls, it's what's good for him. I mean, it's not a linear thing with his development. If he's not going to get minutes, send him to Sioux Falls, develop, come back, maybe he plays in the playoffs. Who knows? Shit. He's done an okay job so far.
I think if he's out of the rotation entirely with the entrance of Terry Rozier, that wouldn't surprise me. I also think he will be back in the rotation at some point because Spo's just going to keep shape-shifting this until March.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I still would like to think that he could give him something off the bench as like the 8th, 9th man. But we'll see.
And who would he kick out of the rotation for that? And there's nobody else but Jay Rich. And I think they have a decision to make on who they want to be that primary bench.
You could go 10 deep. You could go 10 deep.
You can.
Regular season, you probably should.
Yeah, and the regular season, and just look at it from a playoff perspective, and how they're going to deal with that.
Well, okay, so here's how I think it'll happen. Here's how I think it'll actually happen. What I say the starter lineup was Tyler, Terry, Jimmy, Haywood Highsmith, Bam.
Yeah.
Your 6th man is, for now at least, Caleb Martin or Jaime Jaquez, actually. Either of those two. Like that's 6 and 7. That's 6 and 7. Kevin Love is going to be there. Jay Rich.
Diego, if it was Terry Stotts, that would be the funniest option.
Yeah. So your bench is basically Jaime, Caleb, Jay Rich, Kevin Love. I think Jovic could play with that group, and that could be your next 5. And then the best of that group plays in the playoffs. And also, I would be shopping Caleb Martin.
Yeah, he doesn't fit anymore. It's just business now. And you know what? I think if they keep him, I think it's more of a wink that he's going to turn down this player option because it's a hell of a lot less money than I think he makes on an open market. So if you're going to use his skill set in the playoffs, great. He's got the experience for it.
Sure.
You just better hope he doesn't get hurt. If he makes it past the deadline, you better pray he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, he's had one of those type of seasons. Any other questions before we get out of here, people? Manny, we've gotten a bunch, so we could just try to rapid fire through them. I'll throw this one to Timmy. Chances Jaquez will be inserted in the starting lineup when he's healthy. Ugh.
I've seen so many people say that. I mean, you would like to start your most talented players, but I think you're going to put yourself at a disadvantage without Terry and Hero backcourt. You start my bad. You start Highsmith. You just have to start. You have to, role players exist for a reason, I just watching Jaime carry on the season. I would love to see him as a 6th man. Love it.
Manny, next question. I know which one he's gonna put up. If you
I'll
put up
take
the
it.
one
Go
that
for
just Manny, if you put up the one that wasn't
no
it.
agendas, nonsense. Get out of here.
Poetic lifestyle. Still think we need size for Denver because I smell a rematch. You definitely need size for Denver. Don't worry about Denver yet, but
Sean hacked the stream.
6th man of the year, Jaime. You placed that bet today, actually, Sean. I saw that.
Plus 20,000. 6th man of the year. Plus 30,000 rookie of the year. I'm waiting for that check and when injury.
What'd you put on that? 50 cents?
$5 out. $5 each.
Oh Jesus! Fuck, you're trying to fucking buy a house.
Gotta get some cash after buying those Knicks tickets for Saturday.
CB Duncan, not 6 or 7. Oh, I forgot about Duncan. I always forget about Duncan when we
don't worry. The other team's defense will too, Brian. The other
okay, my bad.
Jovic definitely is going back to the G League. I forgot about Duncan as well.
Yeah, thank you, CB. Okay, so Caleb, Jaime, Duncan, my bad. Kevin Love, Jay Rich. Yeah. Yeah, Jovic might be back.
I'm part of the no more Jay Rich agenda. No agendas in here tonight.
Would you play? So would you actually play Jovic over Jay Rich as part of that 10?
I'd play neither.
Not now. I wouldn't now because I don't think he has enough reps under his belt. But listen, by the time the playoffs get here, if he's progressing this way as a ball handler, I'll put the ball in his hands as a 10th man for 12 minutes in the playoffs. I like it better. I think Jay Rich gets to 1 or 2 shots, and that's it. That's all he gets to on the floor, night in, night out.
This is also 10 points a game.
This is also why Caleb.
It's off the same cutting off the. Hey, it works. It does work. I get it.
I'm just saying, my guy out there that's only giving us good vibes and a couple dribbles in transition with what 2, and 1 or 2, 2 and.
It's not
0. I mean, Jovic has got to produce something. I get it. Both these guys are struggling in certain aspects, but you know that Spo, when it boils down to it, who's he going to trust?
Yep.
Unfortunately,
he's going to trust a bet. Yeah.
He's going to trust Josh.
And honestly, if Josh is garnering the respect as a spacer, which Jovic is not, then it's got to be Josh. There's no choice.
All the more reason I think you got to see what you can get for Caleb Martin. Because look at what I just read you off the bench. Caleb, Duncan, Jaime, Jay Rich. It's like you have 4 wings. And then it's like Kevin Love, Jovic, Jamal Cain's not going to get a shot this year.
Oh shit, Jamal Cain. I forgot about him.
You know what I mean? Like, so this is where we are. A couple other questions before we get out of here. But like, yeah, I mean, that rotation is going to be Doc Rivers, man. Holy shit. Oof. We'll see what happens.
Jovic.
Eternal, who's been best supporting character of this episode. Who is the better player, Tyler or Jaime? Tyler or Jaime? Sean's not going to answer. Nobody's going to answer. Ask me in 2026 or 2025.
I'm old enough to remember when Tyler was the golden boy as a rookie too. So Jaime's been great. He's not better than Tyler right now. Could he be better? Yes. But right now, no.
I am not going to show my face, but the question should be, has Tyler Hero reached his ceiling?
Now ask who's better, Duncan or Tyler? Let's do that one next. Let's go around the room.
I'll tell you what. Jaime gets to the free throw line like that. I like his ceiling more. I said Eternal. I would start Jaime at the 2 right now.
To answer the question of our producer, I think he's pretty. I think his hair is touching the ceiling.
What hair?
In terms of Tyler Heroes.
Oh,
but man, they still need to. I'll give it a chance with Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier. They don't have the track record of winning with Tyler Hero as a starter yet, and they need to build one. Because when he starts, they've been okay. When he was 6th man of the year, they were the 1 seed.
But Brian, the question is, when do we stop saying we're going to give Tyler 1 more year?
Oh, if it were up to me, I'd be looking to see what I can get. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do
until
that.
The summer. You're not trading him in the season.
Right. They're not doing it during the season. In the summer, we'll see. But like this is Tyler. This is to answer the question though. This is Tyler's chance. Again, we were saying this last year. This is his chance. He got hurt before the playoffs, and they went on a run to the finals. And people in the NBA looked at that and was like, "Oh, guess he must not be that valuable." Because if he was, they'd probably trade for him by now. But they went to the finals without him. He was starting. They were the 7th seed, really the 8th seed. He gets hurt. They go to the finals. You could add the context and the whatever, but like that's how people look at it. Yep. That's just how it's looked at. Because that's what happened.
It ruined all the momentum, not just for this trade thing, but for how fans view him, players view him, everybody, because he was getting better as that season progressed. Going into the playoffs, he looked great. If he hammered that out with the start of the season that he's having right now, I think the general perception would be completely different on Tyler than it is.
I think Tyler should have a top 200 free throw rate in the NBA.
Yeah.
How about that? That would be nice. That would be nice. But look, Here we go. Here we go again. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. That's sort of where I'm at with Tyler Hero. We'll see what happens. What other questions we have? Adrian Griffin said, wasn't Tyler there when they went to the finals? But Tyler Hero was injured.
Yeah.
The first game of the playoffs. Did y'all discuss what? Why in all caps? Damn, JD. No, we did discuss this. No, we don't think that they're done. Now, I don't think the next move is going to be big. I don't know if you guys disagree with that, but I don't think they're done. I think they got to add like a wing, a wing with size.
Unless you're going to trade Duncan or Tyler, how are you getting a big fish? You know,
would you try to trade Duncan?
Not right now.
He's dipped over the last month and a half or month and change, whatever it was. I just saw.
I mean, that's because Tyler's been playing, obviously, right?
The team's too injured. I think you need the insurance. You need both of those guys.
Do you turn Duncan into two shooters?
I don't even know if you can do that.
Yeah, but
you can. Wizards on that.
I think any of these would be
Corey Kispert. There's gonna be two other white dudes.
Why would you just not keep Duncan Robinson?
Yeah,
I mean, no, those guys expire, so that's more like a cap thing. Like they have more flexibility than some.
Yeah, who are they gonna sign with cap? You know, like
they're not. Then yeah, it's not gonna happen.
And that's always my thing. Like a cap space is a myth to me. Like what? But it's just my opinions on shit. But like, who are you gonna sign?
This is a great
Every player gets added by trades.
Okay, Lenny Pena. Damn, Lenny had a good comment earlier I wanted to get to. Now I forgot what it was. Lenny, if you could come back with that. Duncan has dipped because Tyler's too stubborn to go to the bench. That wasn't the comment I was talking about. I just set myself up. Lenny said Jaime has more impact and affects winning more than Tyler does.
Yeah, it's just not true.
Slow down, guys. Just
what do you think? Look, you may be proven to be right, but again, we'll see in the spring. What do you guys think about Tyler and Terry as a starting backcourt?
I don't know about you guys in the States, right? When we do driving tests over here, we have these cones lined up next to each other when we do driving tests. I just see two cones when I see Terry and Tyler.
Yeah. You didn't see it with Kyle though, huh?
That was just a cement block.
I promise you Terry's gonna compete on defense.
He'll try. He'll try.
He is a Rajon Rondo wingspan. He ain't gonna be that defensively, but I think he'll be better.
Behind, I probably haven't talked a lot about this, so I'm sorry if I'm eating the airtime. You've got one of the best defensive centers, big men in the league right there. You just got to slow those fuckers up. Make their life difficult. Break up actions when you can.
Try.
As long as it gets to the back end, Bam will clean it up.
Roy Lugo says, what does Tyler do better? Than whom? Jaime? Or Duncan? Probably Jaime. Or Terry. It could be Terry. Who, Roy? Tell me who so I could throw the question directly at Sean. Poetic lifestyle.
G's burner is right. We should just keep Bam from playing for our national team too. Start JJJ.
I do. To go back to that question about how the backcourt fits.
It was about Jaime.
I do think it's going to be interesting to see over the next week or so as they start to get comfortable who's getting the more of the on-ball reps. Like, is the ball going to ping pong around? Is it going to move? Is it going to be static and you're going to run a lot of pick and roll and DHOs? Like, how is that dynamic with Tyler, Terry, Jimmy, Jaime when he gets back, Duncan, the guards? How is that going to work? And I think Spo's going to figure it out. They'll be all right.
There's a world where this really works. That's why I want to see it first. Because to Tony's credit, this is something he said. Like, if you get another offensive creator, the stuff that you need Tyler Hero to do, he doesn't need to do as much. So if Terry Rozier, who can actually get downhill, Terry Rozier is the best 3-level scorer on this team right now. And maybe the only one, but he's the best 3-level scorer on this team right now, consistently. Jimmy is a 3-level scorer after like March.
Right.
So basically, if he's going to do that and add that, and Tyler's going to feed off that, be off the ball more, get more threes from the corner. He may not need to get to the foul line as much. Then all of a sudden, you're like, it looks differently and we could perceive Tyler differently. Now, financially, will you be able to keep all that together with Duncan? And like, we can get to that like later on. But I think for right now, yeah, like this is to Sean's point, initially, this is why you do the trade early, because you can get a couple weeks to look at this for the trade deadline. Can we give a moment to give Greg Sylvander a round of applause for reliable inside info? Absolutely.
You're right. Start JJJ.
All right, last question. This is fucking 50 minutes. Last question. Let someone send us off with a bang. Get out of here in one piece before we get canceled. What do we got? Can Tyler's ego not play a role in playoff ball more than we go with this backcourt? Not really a question, but I'll take it. What else? Oh, this is a good one from Soldier. Put the one from Soldier back up. Put the one from Soldier up, Manny. Yeah. What do you guys feel like is the last piece of the puzzle? Everyone goes. Let's go to Tony first.
Get me a big. Get me size, just in case we do make it to the finals, and by chance we have to play Nikola, or we have to go through Joel Embiid. I just need more size on the roster. I don't want Kevin Love being this old playing 30 minutes a game in the playoffs.
Sean.
I say size, but more of like in the 3-4 hybrid type role, switchable 3-and-D, that type. DFS is a guy that I think of, but that type of guy, whether it's him or not.
Timmy.
Yeah, like I've been saying, calling the Nets. I'm looking at DSJ and Rice, or DSJ and DFS. Just another big wing, because really right now, Highsmith is 6'5", Caleb is 6'5".
Everybody on this team is 6'5", except
right.
for Jimmy Bam.
We need like another 6'8", 6'9" big wing to play 3-4. Who could shoot? Who could rebound? Who could? That's really what's missing. Like the Jay Crowder thing, and respect. And Tucker probably gets bought out, but we don't need a 40-year-old Tucker. I bring in DFS or Rice.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It's a combo forward. You need a guy who is a 3-4 that you're going to play at the 4, because Kevin Love's your backup 5. And this person I don't think has to start over Haywood Highsmith, but could. Royce O'Neal I think is short also, but he, for whatever reason, has played 3-4. I think Dorian.
For some reason, it worked. It worked for at least 3 years.
Dorian Finney-Smith is probably the one, but I don't know if you can get to that number now. It's gonna be a little difficult. And if you're not trading Duncan Robinson, that takes you out of some of these conversations. Troy Lugo says it might be Nico. Look, Nico emerging now into that player would actually be what they need, but I don't know how much time they have, right? So. Cass says Rui. I don't know about that. I don't even know if you can get to that.
Rui plays basketball with horse blinders on. That boy does not pass. He looks at the rim. He does not play. He just gets the ball and say, I must score. No.
Brian, is Obi topping that wing player you're talking about? No, because he's somebody that you're totally fine leaving him open. Like, he's one of them dudes, like, you see him open for 3. He can make it every now and then, but you're like, get the fuck out of here, yo. Go ahead. Like, it needs to be somebody who's a little better.
So bring back Solomon Hill. That's what. Bring back Solo. You said Mohawk.
Tweet, so let's do it.
I was kidding. I was thinking Andre Blatch or Larry Sanders. That's usually my 2 go-tos. But
yep.
I don't know what they're doing. I'll check in. I'll check on him.
Bogdanovich. I don't think you can get the Bogdanovich number either.
He's not coming out. But he won't come out. They won't do it. And then you got guys bringing up like Robert Williams. That's only $4 million away for DFS. Just go get DFS.
You can get close. You can get close to like the number that Greg and I were talking about was 11 million, which is around where Kelly O DFS are. They're like slightly above that. Yeah. But that's what Caleb Drew Smith's contract and like a Thomas Bryant would be. Maxi Kleber is an interesting one. But that's sort of what we're looking at.
You got to sign dudes, and then you don't have the salary for signing 3 dudes.
Maybe it's PJ Tucker on the buyout market.
No, it'll be PJ Tucker and Reggie Bullock. They always come back to Reggie Bullock.
But isn't Kane on a 2-way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So if you do that trade, you just promote Kane.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Or my boy RJ Hampton, who I think will be a rotation player next year.
Is super washed. G's burner and hyperbole go hand in hand apparently today, but he is super washed. But
his hamstring basically almost dropped off last season.
It's wrapped up. But what we would need Maxey to do, I think he could do it fine. I don't know if that's a terrible option. Chris Dunn is really interesting. I've liked Chris, but he ain't going nowhere now, I don't think.
I don't think you could afford for another. He's going to put Kyle Lowry offensive numbers up. So I don't think you could afford that. All right, we'll be back next week. We didn't even talk about Joel Embiid's MVP chase. Congrats to you for dropping 70, going off on another shitty team. We'll see what happens. No, seriously. Like if you look up the disparity in his numbers versus shitty teams and good teams, it's crazy.
Wants his MVP. Let him live, bro.
He's not going to play enough games. He's not going to get it.
Yeah.
1 year. This is the last. They're going to get rid of the rule.
Hypothetical MVP.
They're going to get rid of the rule. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win MVP maybe. Did they lose tonight? Hold on.
The game is still on. Still on.
Still going?
No, they won 111, 109.
They tossed Billups. He tried to call a timeout and they gave him a double tag, and it was rough.
Oh, I think Jalen Williams won me a parlay.
Yo, Jalen Williams is that boy good. That boy good. J-Dub is good.
All right. See y'all next week.
Deuces.